Repetition. It is a trait of autistic people or OCD people or non-autistic people. It's a trait of everyone. I must be impartial here, but especially as a person with OCD, having just talked about it in a recent video as well, I feel like it would be best to discuss how repetitive behavior can either benefit or hinder your life. Because many successful people, for example musicians, repeatedly play their notes, play it, try it, test it, until it sounds exactly perfect. Kanye West once said that his song Power took 10,000 hours to make. Now, did it? I don't know. Now, if he spent 10,000 hours on that song, and that must be why it's so big and popular, right? Who knows if he took 10,000 hours to make it, but the point is that he repeatedly played it, experimented with it, and made sure it was perfect before publishing and releasing to the world. This is what the masters of their crafts do in life. They find their hobby, stick to it, master it. It's like a footballer as well, athletes do this. Another great quote by Bruce Lee: "I fear not the man who has practiced 10,000 kicks once, but the man who has practiced one kick 10,000 times." In that case, the repetition made the person better and better at the kick, until the guy literally became a one-kick man. Boom, one kick, psh, knockout, high kick in the head. It's scary, isn't it? The potential of a person with that much power could be dangerous, you know, because especially some fighters, they need to first become a monster and then learn how to control it, as Jordan Peterson said. Now, this relates to me because when I was a child, I was actually quite violent because I had behavioral tendencies which I couldn't control, and whenever I thought I lost or someone was insulting me, I would be pretty vicious. But after I matured, I hit puberty, I got over my Asperger's a bit, I learned to control it, and now I never have violent outbursts like that. Now, what about how repetition can hinder your life? Now, this is where the OCD tendencies come into play. OCD behaviors tend to be repetitive. OCD is often associated with hyper-organization, obsessive checking of the place, high standards of self-respect, and really OCD ties into addictive behaviors. It's very well correlated with repeatedly going back to the substance that gives the person the dopamine hit every single day. Now, I've suffered with OCD my whole life. It's good that I get to keep a nice organized room, my books are here, my bed is always made, but sometimes I'm just too obsessive with the checking. I'll look down in the corners to make sure I didn't drop anything, even though I know nothing dropped out of my pockets. I'll make sure the door's locked. I'll even check the other gates, which I haven't even used in a while. Sometimes I wipe my desks. I was quite bad at this last year, but I learned to resist the urge to stop myself from obsessively cleaning the place. Now I do it far less often and at a more healthy rate. So fundamentally, repetition can be good, bad, or maybe just neutral for you. Repetition is always great when you're pursuing a sport and you're trying to master it, like practicing your shooting in football every day. That's how the pros make it pro. This is especially useful for children who obviously have developing brains and they need to train in order to suit their profession when they grow up. And I want this to be a well-known fact, even for adults, who, whereas it may be harder to become a professional at a sport at that age, you can always apply this to your career or your money-making skills or your passions. But it's always important to distinguish this mastery of a skill with an addiction, even the smoking or alcohol addiction, or a video game addiction at that. So I want you to identify those behaviors in your brain and realize what parts of your obsessive behavior are serving you well and what parts are hindering your success. I hope you figure that out. Take care and see you in the next video.